Okay, so Grandma, I heard that you just got your blood profile checked and your doctor gave you some suggestions and tried to explain it to you, and you're still a little bit confused about it, so I want to help you. Um, so on there, your doctor says that he talked about fatty acids with you. What I want you to keep in mind is that your very cliche society norm is to decrease fats. I know maybe 20 years ago there was this huge fad diet that was telling everybody not to eat fats because they were terrible for you. Fats make you fat is what they were trying to say. But I want you to know that whenever you're active and you damage all those cell membranes that you're using, and just not even active, just maybe stress in life or just normal metabolic processes, does damage the fat in your cell membranes, and you need to replace that fat. So good fats, yes, those are great. Your unhealthy fats like McDonald's, Burger King, that stuff's not good for you. But fatty acids are good. I want you to know that there are such things as good fats. And then your doctor also talked about your glycerides. So on your blood profile, it's going to say it's going to have a number next to your triglycerides, which is basically your blood sugar. There's a normal range. And that range also changes throughout the day. So if you're starved, or if you just worked out, or if you just went through any sort of stress, like if you had a stressful day or anything like that, if you're dehydrated, those blood sugars are going to go down. If you just ate a meal, or even if you just went outside, things like that, those blood sugars are going to go up. So they kind of work like an elevator all day long, a little escalator like an AC unit, which are fine, but you need to keep them in check. And your doctor says that that's fine so far. Your doctor's going to talk to you about cholesterol, and there's a lot of different kinds of cholesterol. Cholesterol isn't what a lot of people think it is. You can't avoid it altogether because your body uses it, especially your muscles really like the yellow part of the egg, and a lot of people say that that's the bad part. But I want you to know that cholesterol is good. There's a range, again, that you want to stay healthy, quote unquote healthy in, but everybody's a little bit different. So if you're outside that range and you've always been outside that range, then that's fine. Now if you were inside that range and now you're outside that range, then that's probably a bad sign, because that means your body is changing, not for the better. So on your cholesterol, it's going to say HDL and LDL. It might even say VLDL. Your VLDLs and your regular LDLs, I want you to think about lousy. Those are your lousy from the L. Those are your lousy cholesterols. Those are the ones that don't help you very much. So you want to keep those as low as you possibly can. If you can get them lower, the better, because those are the ones that bring the cholesterol out to the muscles, and sometimes they get trapped out there. Now, the HDL is the exact opposite. I want you to think about that. H means healthy. Those are your healthy cholesterols. So those are the ones that bring the cholesterol out from your body back to the liver, so that they can be reused or stored or whatever their purpose is. So there's very different. Now, cholesterol is good. You have to consume it. You can't over-consume it. That's the problem, is you have to find that level that's good for you and how much you use, and you need to kind of almost trial and error that. So if your numbers go way up and you've been having a lot of foods that have cholesterol in it, then you need to restrict it. Now, if your number is the exact same and you consume a lot of cholesterol, then maybe your body just needs a lot of cholesterol. And so that's something to think about. Now, cardiovascular disease, I want you to think about your blood. It's kind of like a soup. Grandmas cook a lot, so let's talk about soup. So if you have a lot of stuff in your blood, more than what's going to be in there, that soup's going to come out really clumpy. So if your triglycerides are way too high, if you have too many hormones in there, that could also change it. If you have too much cholesterol floating around in your blood, all that stuff, it just causes a lot of traffic. And that traffic eventually is going to get stuck. It's like the soup getting stuck to the sides of the pan, and the rest of it can't flow around and diffuse like it needs to. So what you want to do is add more of broth, or in our case, it'll be plasma or water to that soup, and it'll dilute it out a little bit better so the consistency is good. There's a certain consistency that your heart wants to pump, and if you fill it too chunky, then your heart doesn't like that. But on the other side, if you don't have enough in that blood and it's too watered down, then your heart can't get that oxygen and nutrients to your muscles. So there's always a balance point on all these things. That you can have cholesterol that's too high or too low. You can have too many fatty acids, not enough fatty acids. You can have too many glycerides in your blood. You could also have not enough triglycerides in your blood. So I want you to kind of think about, these numbers are just a recommendation. And if they're giving you red flags towards cardiovascular disease, so if your arteries are getting clogged, blood pressure's off, As you get older, your arteries can't dilate and constrict like they normally do, so that's going to throw the flow off also. So these numbers that are on the blood profile, just kind of take those into account. And if there's a lot of red flags that are leading towards cardiovascular disease, then your doctor is going to tell you, clean up your diet so you can clean up that soup. You can clean up the flow of the blood. And then he's also going to tell you to exercise so that your body knows how to shunt that blood, how to clean it out a little bit better, how to open up those arteries like traffic, how to open up more lanes if there's more traffic, or how to close down lanes and save energy if there's not a lot of traffic. And all that stuff is normal, everyday things. Your body should be able to kind of upregulate and downregulate just like an AC unit all day long. And if it loses that ability to do that, that's when you're going to have a lot of problems. I hope that clears some stuff up, Grandma.